Welcome to Dementia-Friendly Prince George's County, Maryland, Northern Sector webinar series for caregivers. Today's topic is Healthy Living for Your Brain and Body, sponsored by Prince George's County Government and the Department of Family Services.
And without further ado, I will pass it along to Ms. Shaunda Bellamy.
Thank you, Pamela. So welcome to the Alzheimer's Association Healthy Living for Your Brain and Body Tips and the Latest Research Program. This program is designed to offer you research-based recommendations about taking care of our brains and our bodies in order to age as well as possible. Now, I need to note something. This program is intended for healthy individuals who are looking for ways to age well. And if you have concerns about your memory, you can speak with your physician, or you can also contact the Alzheimer's Association to speak with someone to find out more about the Alzheimer's Association programs. And as Pamela just shared, you can also reach out to the dementia-friendly team here in Prince George's County. So first slide, we're going to share about the learning objectives. By the end of this program, you will be able to identify reasons for taking care of yourself as you age, list strategies to help you age well in the following areas: cognitive ability, physical health and exercise, diet and nutrition, and social engagement. Next slide, please. So let's start off by talking about the factors that contribute to how humans age. There are some ways in which we age that we all have in common. Many of these things are kind of out of our control. As older adults, for example, our hair typically turns gray. My hair actually started turning gray in some areas in my 20s. So, and our skin tends to wrinkle as we age. Our eyes tend to focus less effectively while reading. As individuals, though, we each age somewhat differently. And how this takes place depends in part on our genes. So we are each genetically predisposed to age in a certain way. For example, some families tend to live a long time, aging well into their 90s and even longer. Other families tend to develop diseases that may limit the lifespan. These are all things that are beyond our control. However, there are certain aspects of aging over which we do have some degree of control. And these aspects of aging include the lifestyle or environmental factors associated with how we age. Even in families with genetic predispositions toward particular conditions, there are certain lifestyle and environmental interventions that we may alter the course of those conditions significantly. We can start by adopting habits that potentially improve our overall health. And these habits may help to keep our bodies and our brains healthy as we age. Next slide. Now let's talk a little bit about the brain and how it works. The brain controls all functions of our body, including thought and movement. It's the control center of the entire body. There are approximately 100 billion nerve cells called neurons in the brain. They are structured like branches of a tree, creating networks of pathways through which electrochemical signals are sent to form thoughts, feelings, and memories. Alzheimer's disease progressively destroys brain cells as it moves throughout the brain, affecting more functions as it progresses. Next slide, please. The heart and brain connection. We have known for years that the body and the brain are connected, and that what is good for the body may also be good for the brain. Now science is able to tell us why this is true and what we can do to maximize our health. So much of the body-brain connection is due to the fact that the brain is nourished by the body's richest network of blood vessels. So the oxygen and other elements delivered to the brain through the bloodstream may keep the brain nourished. So I want to say this one thing. So each time our heart beats, 25% of the blood being moved moves to the brain. And this is why keeping our body in good working order helps to keep the brain fueled to do its work. Next slide, please. Alzheimer's and dementia. So there are many benefits to aging. If you ask someone you know who is over the age of 50 or 60, you may hear a discussion of increased feelings of comfort with who the person is and less concerned about the opinions and criticisms of others. For me, I think that I learned that in my 30s. And those in their 70s and 80s may talk about the wisdom that comes with their life experience and the appreciation of this perspective. As we age, there are changes that take place in our bodies and our brains. Many of these things are to be expected as typical age-related changes, such as some decline in the ways our brain process information. In addition, however, there are some diseases that are more common as we age, and some of these impact our brain function. Alzheimer's disease and other dementias result when the brain is compromised in some specific ways. Currently, there is no proven methods to prevent, cure, or even slow the progression of Alzheimer's disease. There are habits, though, that help maintain or potentially improve overall health as we age. And these habits may also help to keep our brain healthy as we age. Although this program isn't specifically about issues related to Alzheimer's disease or dementia, it's helpful to know some basic information about these conditions to understand how they relate to healthy aging and what we can do to help our brains and bodies age well as possible. So dementia, most of the time, or not most of the time, a lot of times when we're doing presentations, people ask me, what's the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia? Dementia is a general term that is caused by many different diseases, each with different symptoms. The symptoms of all these diseases have one thing in common. They compromise the way the brain works and cause a decline in memory or other brain functions that are noticeable enough to affect everyday life. Although dementia and the diseases under this umbrella the umbrella term are associated with aging, they are not a normal part of aging. If they were, everyone would develop them as they age. And we know this isn't the case. But Alzheimer's disease is the most common form of dementia, accounting for 60 to 80% of all cases of dementia. Some of the risks for dementia include age, genetics, head injury, cardiovascular factors, and a fewer years of formal education. We will discuss some of these risks in more detail later in the program. Now, there are some therapies that have been developed to help treat symptoms of the disease, and these are effective in some people for a limited period of time. However, they do not slow down the progression of the disease. The Alzheimer's Association offers many programs and resources, both in person and online, where you can get additional information about Alzheimer's and the other forms of dementia. And as Pamela just shared before we got started, Dementia Friendly America Prince George's County also shares a lot of resources, or programs in the community as well. Next slide, please. Taking care of yourself as you age. So today we will explore 4 aspects of healthy aging, and these are physical health and exercise, diet and nutrition, cognitive activity, and social engagement. We'll look at what the most current research tells us about the changes we can make in each of these areas that can help our bodies and our brains age as well as possible. As we touch on each area, think about how you can apply this research to your own life and consider how you can do what you enjoy, make gradual changes, and start now regardless of your age. So whenever possible, think about how you can make changes that affect more than one area at a time. And once, just one at a, more than one area so that you can maximize those health benefits of those new habits. So next slide, please. Physical health and exercise. Let's start by exploring the area of physical health and exercise. There's quite a bit of research in this area of how physical activity affects brain health. Many studies indicate that engaging in physical activities is associated with lower risk of cognitive decline. So many researchers say that if people had to choose one thing to improve their brain functioning, it should be exercise. Some evidence suggests that exercise may directly benefit brain cells by increasing blood and oxygen flow, and also by reducing other dementia risk factors such as high blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol. Each of these three are related to vascular dementia. However, there is no single recipe for what may work best. Most researchers believe exercise should be regular and on the vigorous side, but other studies have shown benefits from mild activities such as walking. And so now I'm going to ask Pamela to share a video with you. And in our first video, Woodley describes developing a new habit.
It's not loading for me here.
Okay, so we'll skip the video and we'll just talk about the video. So in this slide, Woodley is basically creating an exercise habit that can begin with just 10 to 15 minutes a day of activity. And so it doesn't have to be something that, whether it's, I was on a session earlier today and a person shared how they're going to start off by trying to ride their bike for 10 minutes a day for 3 days a week. And so basically the video that Woodley was just sharing how to develop this new habit. So it could be in the morning, you wake up, maybe you don't want to go walking outside, but you can walk around in the house. There's many videos online as well on YouTube that you can just kind of watch the YouTube video, walk in place. You may be walking in place and it may tell you to step to the side. I can't think of the lady's name. I think it's Leslie someone that does walking away the pounds or something like that. And so just developing some new behavior or habit, start off small. So it could be 10 minutes a day. And then you can build up if you're trying to build up to a 30-minute a day exercise and you want to do it 3 days a week. And so next slide, Pamela, we'll go to the next slide. Oh, you can go back one. Okay. All right. So the most important recommendation is we're talking about physical health and exercise. So the most important recommendation is to be active as you can and to incorporate activity that you can enjoy so you will continue to engage in it. If this is new for you, start off with something small, walk around your neighborhood a few times a week, take the stairs more often, like if you're in an office building or out, where you can take the stairs instead of the elevator, and park your car far away from your destination. Like if you're parking in a grocery store parking lot, park a little further to walk, get your exercise in, to walk into the door. The little changes add up, and research shows that even 20 to 30 minutes of walking a few times a week can have health benefits. Participate in cardiovascular activity regularly. This will increase your blood flow to your brain and your body, providing additional nourishment. Research has shown that for people, any additional movement is a positive change that can have an impact on overall health. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have developed recommended guidelines for physical activity. So for more details about recommendations and how you can reach them, go to the CDC's website, and let me pull that. That website is cdc.gov physical activity /physical activity /everyone /guidelines /adults. And I will share this information with Pamela if she's going to send out some additional information for you after this session. On this site, you'll see to move safely to prevent injury, wear a helmet when biking to protect against head injury, and wear other protective gear when needed for other activities. Ask friends to join you. This way you can make it a social event as well. So it's a benefit for your brain and your body as well. And get support to continue continuing your routine. Consider physical activities that may be mentally or socially engaging, such as taking a dance class, joining an exercise group, or engaging in a challenging sport, such as golfing and playing tennis, which that may not be challenging for some of you all, but it would be very challenging for me. And so also check with your doctor before beginning any new exercise program. And finally, remember that it's never too late or early to start. No matter when you start, your body and brain can still reap the benefits. And next slide, with physical health and exercise, what can we do? So studies have found that smoking increases the risk of cognitive decline and may increase the risk of dementia. Additional benefits of stopping smoking include a lower risk of heart attack, stroke, and lung disease, better blood circulation, and avoiding others to secondhand smoke. Avoiding exposing others to secondhand smoke. Alcohol has many effects. So although a glass or two of red wine is commonly thought to have health benefits, you should not start drinking it if you don't already do so. Also, excessive drinking drinking of alcohol has some serious negative consequences, including slow and impaired communication among brain cells, fuzzy memory and drowsiness, long-term changes in balance, memory, emotions, coordination, and body temperature, and can be a big contributor to falls and fall-related injuries in older adults. And it can react negatively with medications that you may be taking, leading to potentially dangerous or even life-threatening consequences. So what you can do, you can get enough sleep. Inadequate sleep due to conditions like insomnia or sleep apnea can cause problems with memory and thinking. I can definitely tell the difference when I've had a good night's rest and when I get up and start trying to function off for 2-3 hours, I may not be able to think as quickly. So avoid any injury to your head. Head injuries and falls can contribute to physical and cognitive difficulties. So be sure to wear a helmet when riding a bicycle or playing sports that involve any head injury. Studies have found that regular physical activity decreases stress, increases your ability to manage stress, and it leads to better overall mood. So monitor your stress levels, take action to minimize it, and seek professional assistance to address anxiety, depression, or other mental health concerns. And be sure that you have informed all of your doctors about all medications you take and have them reviewed by your primary care doctor once a year. And sometimes medication, if a new medication is added that maybe your primary care physician didn't just prescribe it, but another physician did. And those interactions could cause some memory issues or impact your memory as well. And it can also lead to other health issues. So you want to make sure your doctors are informed of any medication changes, all of your doctors, your co-care team. So find a physician that you trust and visit him on a regular basis. Follow up on recommendations that this is one of the best things you can do to maximize your health as you age. And so next slide. So growing evidence suggests that many factors increase the risk of heart disease, strokes, and may also increase the risk of dementia. These include high blood pressure, diabetes, and possibly high cholesterol. Although there is good research being done in these areas, more is needed. Here's what we know. So research has shown an increase in risk of cognitive decline and dementia among individuals with diabetes. Although diabetes has not been shown to cause Alzheimer's disease, there's a relationship between those who have diabetes and those who get dementia, as I stated earlier, vascular dementia. So studies have found that midlife obesity may be associated with an increased risk of dementia. Research done on treatments to reduce midlife hypertension suggests that they may also reduce the risk of cognitive decline. Studies have shown mixed results for the relationship between high cholesterol levels and dementia. We do not know that a good cholesterol level is good for the heart. We do know that good cholesterol levels is good for the heart. And so what's good for the heart is good for the brain. So the best way to combat these health concerns is to get your cardiovascular factors mentioned above tested regularly and work with your doctor to understand what the results mean for your overall health. Be aware of changes from previous levels to help determine whether changes are needed to help you stay healthy. African Americans, Latinos, and other ethnic groups that tend to have higher rates of high blood pressure, diabetes, and cardiovascular problems need to work closely with their doctors to stay on top of these medical concerns. As a preventative method, as a preventative measure, as we stated, some of those illnesses can lead to vascular dementia. It doesn't mean that if you have them that you will get vascular dementia, but you should pay attention closely to that. So next slide, diet and nutrition. The next area that we will explore is diet and nutrition. So again, we know that a healthy fueling of the body benefits brain functioning. But there are many differing opinions about what is best to eat to maximize health. Research in the area of this relationship between cognitive function is somewhat limited, but it does point to the benefits of two particular diets, and it's the DASH diet and the Mediterranean diet. The DASH diet stands for Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension. And it's a flexible and balanced eating plan. Studies have shown that the DASH diet lowers high blood pressure and improves levels of blood lipids, fats in the bloodstream, and which may reduce the risk of developing cardiovascular disease. Because the DASH diet is a healthy way of eating, it offers potential health benefits beyond simply lowering blood pressure, including reducing the risk of osteoporosis, cancer, heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. Now, the Mediterranean diet incorporates The basics of healthy eating, along with other components characterizing the traditional cooking style of countries bordering the Mediterranean Sea. A research analysis of more than 1.5 million healthy adults demonstrated that following a Mediterranean diet could reduce the risk of death from heart disease and cancer, and may also reduce the incidence of Parkinson's and Alzheimer's disease. It's never too late to adopt a heart-healthy diet. Studies show that making these changes even later in life may have benefits for your brain. And so there's a video, and since the first video didn't play, Pamela, we're gonna go to the next slide. And I'll just tell you that the video was someone named Dr. Martha Claire Morris. And so she's just talking about a diet that has been shown to help people age in a healthy way. And it's the Mediterranean diet that we already discussed. And so this next slide is diet and nutrition. What can we do? What can we eat? What can we avoid? So there are some simple ways to adopt a healthy diet that may benefit your body and your brain. We all probably know this, but it's still a good reminder. On this slide, you see suggestions that incorporate principles from both the DASH diet and the Mediterranean diet. And they include incorporate vegetables in your daily diet. Eating green leafy vegetables has been shown to have health benefits. So eating a diet rich in fruits, some studies indicate that certain fruits such as berries may be particularly helpful. And so eat nuts and beans, whole grains, eat lean meats, fish and poultry, choose foods containing polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats, which are found in nuts, vegetable oils, and fish. Aim for diets low in saturated and trans fats. Stay away from processed foods, from deep fried foods, and excessive sugar and salt. And so the next slide on diet and nutrition, what can we do? A healthy diet will help increase your intake of important vitamins. Some research has shown that vitamins such as vitamin E, vitamin C together, and vitamin B12 and folate may lower your risk of cognitive decline, possibly Alzheimer's disease, possibly Alzheimer's disease. This research has resulted in some suggestions that taking dietary supplements will lower your risk. The dietary supplements or medical foods are all made of those things with nutritional deficiencies and are to be used only under the supervision of a physician. So labels for medical foods or supplements cannot make drug claims or state that they alleviate symptoms of diseases because they're not drugs as defined by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Many are created with little or no regulation and may potentially be dangerous. Beware of false claims. So, sometimes at night when we're up really late, we see those commercials with those dietary supplements and, medical foods that say they cure this and they would do that. So you want to be aware of those false claims and just talk to your physician about those before taking those supplements. So with all types of supplements, it's important to keep in mind that they are not without risk. They are made of chemicals that may interact with other medications in negative ways and may upset the way your body works naturally. Although they often cite research to back their beneficial claims, the research has not been held to rigorous standards that are required by FDA. Even with emerging research to back up the claims, it can be difficult to understand what the research means for you. So when getting information about a supplement or a vitamin, check with a reputable source of the information about what the research has been done, about what research has been done. So the best way to understand and address how to care for yourself is to discuss it with your physician, work with a trusted doctor who understands your physical issues well, and he or she can provide the best advice about how medications, vitamins, and dietary supplements may interact with your body. It is important to discuss any changes in medications with your doctor. And so the next slide, cognitive activity. Now, let's take a look at research in the area of cognitive activity. Cognitive activity is a term used for keeping our minds active. Anything that uses your mind in a challenging way is a cognitive activity and can possibly have short and long-term benefits for your brain. So, as you use your mind in new and challenging ways, your brain actually begins to form and nourish new pathways for connections among brain cells. The more pathways you have, the more nimble your brain is, and the better able you are to guard against the effects of injuries and or diseases that may compromise brain function. Studies have been done in some people engaged in cognitive activity by playing games and just reading material that was challenging to them. Those who kept their brains active in these ways could recall information that was recently learned and remember it later to a much greater degree than those who did not keep their minds stimulated through mental activity. However, we do not know all the reasons why staying cognitively engaged may be beneficial. More research is taking place today to further explore these questions. But research has shown that in engaging in formal education, classroom-based learning administered by professionally trained teachers in any stage in life will help keep your brain healthy and protect your brain from developing dementia. Some researchers believe that this may be due to education creating a more robust network of communication pathways between neurons in the brain. Others believe that the difference has to do more with education levels and being related to socioeconomic factors, which are correlated with risk for disease in general and access to medical care. And so we had another video that we that's on I guess the next slide that we will not show. And in this video, it was Dr. David Bennett, and he's the director of the Rush Alzheimer's Disease Center in Chicago. And basically, he's talking about the research in the area of cognitive activity. And so, in summary, the video is just sharing how keeping your mind engaged and engaged in things that's challenging. So, sometimes we ask people, what are you doing to keep your mind active? And they may consistently play like crossword puzzle or, do the crossword puzzles, I should say. And so if you're always doing that same thing, is that really challenging? And so doing something different would be challenging. So learning to build a new piece of furniture, learning a new language, learning, and you can do a new language on your phone. I think it's, it'll come to me what it is. Duolingo, I think it is. And so you can teach yourself another language on your phone, or even just learning something new instead of doing the same type of thing all the time. And that's what that whole video kind of summarizes. And so cognitive stimulation is defined as the mental processing of information, and cognitive stimulation has positive effect on maintaining cognitive abilities throughout life. And it is important to incorporate cognitive stimulation in your life regardless of your age. Next slide, cognitive activity. So how can we exercise our brains or keep our minds active? You can see some ideas on this slide. And I kind of went into it a little bit. Build a new piece of furniture, try a new cooking technique, or create something artistic. Read books and articles that challenge and inspire you. Focus on topics that interest you. with new learning, or add to what you already know. Complete puzzles and play games that are challenging for you. Keyword challenging. This goes beyond jigsaw or crossword puzzles that you find fairly easy to do. Here are, we're talking about solving a problem that has stumped you, or figuring out ways to approach a familiar task in a more effective way. It requires that you think steps ahead and make plans for adapting changes that an opponent may make in a game like chess or bridge. Okay, so learn a new skill or hobby, learn something new that interests you and that you find enjoyable. You want to learn to play a new instrument or take up a new hobby like watercolor painting or playing chess. Engage in online learning, seek new opportunities for formal education. If you're a senior, you may be participating in the SAGE program with Prince George's Community College. And so this could involve like also a class at a community center that's teaching you about a new topic or skill or hobby. Also, encourage and help your children and grandchildren to get as much formal education as possible. You can also join a club that's focused on a common interest. It could be a sewing club, it could be a travel club, it could be a crochet club, it could be a bridge club, playing cards. Okay, so this is of double benefit because it will keep your mind active while engaging in a social interaction. So while brain training activities such as computer games that aim to improve memory and attention span are an exciting area of research, none of these activities have proven buffers against Alzheimer's disease. So be cautious of commercially marketed brain games with big claims and promises of buffering against Alzheimer's disease. One of the best ways to stretch your mind and your brain is to be as resilient as possible. So, and how you do that is to consistently engage in activities that involve new learning, and also solving problems, and be sure to choose activities that you enjoy doing to increase the likelihood that you continue to engage in them over time. Next slide, social engagement. And this is the social engagement. This is our final area that we'll take a look at. And so this is dealing with interacting with others in a social setting. So there's at least this is the area, I guess I should say, with the least amount of research. However, there's some research that indicates that connecting with others socially may benefit brain health and may actually delay the onset of dementia. Those who are engaged with other people also tend to have reduced rates of mortality and disability. I know and some individuals that I know in Prince George's County in the community during the pandemic, when they were not able to get out to go to the senior centers that they were engaged in before, or the nutrition sites, I can personally tell there's a decline in their cognitive ability and their function. They're not being socially engaged. A lot of them were isolated, like they didn't really have family. And that was why they were participating, one, to receive the nutrition at those nutrition sites, others to be engaged with others. And so this, even though we say this is the least amount of research that has been done in this area, but I can personally see where connecting with others socially will benefit brain health. And so researchers aren't sure how or why if social networks may help to keep the brain resilient against Alzheimer's disease. Some scientists say that the traits that enable people to build and maintain friendships act as a buffer against cognitive impairment. So regardless of the reason, we know that people don't do well in isolation. And when people are feeling good about their social networks, they tend to make healthier choices, in other areas of their life. So there are a variety of ways to connect with others and reap the physical benefits of social interaction. As always, pursue the activities that are meaningful to you. These will provide the greatest connection with those around you and will keep you engaged. Sometimes you can engage in an activity that combines areas of healthy aging, such as when you take a walk with a friend or volunteer to tutor young adults in your community, finding a purpose in your life, an activity or connection that gives your life a sense of meaning. Next slide, putting all 4 pieces together. Now, let's pull all of these pieces together. Each of the 4 components we have explored has potential benefits for physical and cognitive health. Recent research, however, suggests that combining activities in all 4 areas may have the greatest benefit in maintaining or improving your brain health. And so, Pamela, since this is like our last video, do you want to try it one time? On the next slide, there's a video. And in this video, Dr. Bill talks about a recent study that is making a difference in what scientists are able to tell about healthy aging. Okay, if it's not playing, okay. So that video doesn't play, but what the video is talking about is how studies tells us that when exercise, diet, social engagement, and mental stimulation levels were increased to a prescribed level, fewer participants experience cognitive decline. Scientists are now moving toward saying that these interventions may make a difference. With more evidence emerging, they're able to say that they probably do make a major shift in the messaging that reflects the research. And last slide, what you can do now. So, take a holistic approach to wellness as you age. Consider your health across many components, including physical, intellectual, social, spiritual, emotional, and vocational areas of your life. You can make simple changes that make a cumulative effect, helping you live as well as possible. Okay, so begin today. It's never too late or too early to start living in a more healthy way. Start small and build. Pick one area to start with and expand from there. Take your changes step by step. Do what you enjoy and stick with it. The more you enjoy the activity you've chosen, it is more likely that you will follow up with your plan. Do something that you can manage in the time you have available now. Choose an activity you can stick with over time. You know what, let me go back to that one. Do something that you can manage in the time that you have available now. I'm always planning. I purchased this, well, my husband purchased it for me, this little row, because I saw one of my friends, she had knee issues, and she started using this row machine, and now she's dancing and doing all this stuff. And so I have some knee issues. So my husband purchased this row machine for me because I'm like, I need a row machine so I can work out and get my knees, strengthen my knees. I've had it now, I guess maybe 4 or 5 months. Haven't been on the row machine yet. I'm always saying I don't have time, but do something that you can manage in the time that you have available now. And so I can get up a little earlier in the morning and add in some time to do that row machine and start off small, which is something I've said to you as well. So I'm talking to you and preaching to me at this moment. So make healthy choices, exercise, eat a nutritious diet, reduce stress as much as possible, make a plan, use your workbook to document your plan, Keep track of your progress as well as obstacles that may hold you back, and ways to overcome them. Reward yourself for small changes and overall progress. Get support from others. Let other people know about the changes you're making and engage in activities that have a social component. Celebrate the victories together, have fun, and be sure the activities you choose are enjoyable. Reward your successes. Now, there's a companion workbook that goes along with this class, and you can go to the next slide, Be a Savvy Consumer. And with that companion workbook, I know there were some updates being done, and I'll see that if it's available now, and if it is, I will send that back to Pamela so that it can be sent out to the participants or all those who registered. And so aging can present health-related challenges that can take an emotional, financial, and physical toll. You can find many products on the market with medical or health-related claims that may be backed up by inaccurate or misleading research. These products and services may be expensive or time-consuming and can arouse false hopes in users. Some may actually be dangerous to your health. Don't let your desire to find a cure or a quick solution to these challenges override your good judgment. These claims should be backed by solid research conducted with a large number of people, and research that has been replicated, and research that has been published in a peer-reviewed journal. Before trying anything new, consult with your professional, your physicians, and consult with professionals who know your situation, who are reliable sources of information. Your personal physician is the best person to talk to about whatever needs you may have, and even products that you are thinking of trying that could be potentially harmful to you. Local pharmacists are also great resources for information about drug or over-the-counter supplement interactions. The Alzheimer's Association website can also be helpful, alz.org. And this site offers up-to-date information on research. And on this next slide, you'll see the 24-hour helpline. So the Alzheimer's Association 24-hour helpline is 800-272-3900 and is available around the clock, 365 days a year through this free service. Specialists and master's level clinicians or other confidential support and information can offer support to individuals living with Alzheimer's, their caregivers and families, the public in general. So contact the helpline day or night. And like I said, you can speak confidentially with a master's level care consultant for decision-making support, crisis assistance, education on issues families face every day, and also to just learn about the signs and symptoms of Alzheimer's and other related dementias. And so I will stop there. You'll find there's also a community resource finder on a slide, and but we'll stop at that point. I'm sorry, Pamela, if you could share the slide that shows the Alzheimer's Navigator. And this is a slide where, or the Alzheimer's Navigator, it's on the Alzheimer's website, but this slide or this the slide is showing you this site. It helps guide caregivers to answer questions, or you can create a personalized action plan here, and it's like a link to other information and support and local resources. And so I've shared a lot about what the Alzheimer's Association can do, but hopefully Pamela has another slide that also shows you how to connect with dementia-friendly North County as well, related to any caregiving issues, you know, as it relates to dementia or older adults.